A very good evening to you and welcome to Big Talk here on Global Television. My name is Godwin Sunday. We are still in the season of celebration, whether you call it the Democracy Day or you call it the day after the mantle of leadership was handed over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's still a celebration period. Of course, the celebration galore from Children's Day we metamorphosed into Democracy Day by extension. But today, let's even look at the scorecard again of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and try to pick it up from the angle of the youth, try to see what has been the impact so far of Nigerian youth being able to benefit largely from the president. And who best to join me in this conversation than the speaker, the national speaker of the National Youth Assembly of Nigeria in the person of Usman Shagari Bashiru, who is joining me right now in the conversation. You're welcome to a Big Talk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Badu, for having me.
Oh, so good to have you again join us, even on this table again.
Thank you.
All right, so let's delve into this conversation. People will say that the president has done magnificently well when it has to do with nationwide infrastructural development. It has to do with the developmental strides. Security has improved, the economy has bounced back, inflation is currently going down the drain. But in your own assessment, when you look at this administration for the last 2 years and just oppose it with other administration, what's your thoughts generally and what's your take on the Bola Tinubu's administration for the last 2 years?
Mr. Godwin, I think, like I said, the thing is that you can't just judge an administration based on 1 year or 2 years in office. But I believe that last year we had there were discussions like this where people were judging the administration based on their performance and based on their commitment to people. So the thing is that now we are in the second year. By the time we reach next year, it's going to be third year, which is going to be more of election, preparation and everything. So I believe that now is the best time to judge this administration because it's the middle of the tenure, and whatever they need to do for the people, we need to see the progress by now before before the campaign year or before the election year. So, and I believe that there are various initiatives that this administration have come up with, and I believe that there are various policies that they inherited from the last administration, which they are trying to push in this administration. But the most important thing is that when it comes to governance, what the people are concerned about is that they need something that will affect them directly, something that people can see the effects directly. When this administration came in, which was May 29, 2023, the first thing that the president did was the removal of subsidy, and we all saw how that affects the people directly, how that impacts the economy, how that impacts the inflation, how that impacts the living standard of Nigerians. So what we expect from the government is for us to see initiative or change that can affect the people directly. So whenever we are going to, as for me, I believe that the best way that we can vet this government is to look at the things they have done that affected the people directly after the removal of the subsidy. So we have various policies that are still being implemented. But the best thing for us is that this is the second year for this administration. So what have this government done that have affected the people directly? I believe there are various initiatives, especially in terms of the youth. They have done initiative that's impacted the people. When we are talking about this kind of initiative, for example, we can see the NEL Fund, the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, and there are various initiatives, which I believe these are things that affected the people directly. But this is just talking about a small segment of people, which are the students and the youth. We are talking about the people in general, the Nigerian people, the voters, the people living in the country. What have you done to change their life? What have you done that people can see that this is something that the government have done and that have changed our life, and this is something that we are proud of it? So these are the key KPIs I believe that we should look at, and these are the things that we should consider when we are vetting this administration and when we are rating this administration. We should look at what the government have done that affect the people directly and what they are currently planning to do, because I believe that's the only way we can judge this administration, not by talking about policies or initiatives that are yet to come. Talk about the things that have been already implemented and that are affecting our life. by the people and for the people. So the voice is the most important thing. We should always advocate for our voice. Whatever we feel like we have issue with, advocate for it, talk about it, raise our voices. We have various platforms that we can do that. The social media is there. So once we do that, we can be able to get the ears of these policymakers and see how they can do the right thing. So sometimes, if people are not getting pressure or people are not getting feedback from us, the masses, if these legislators are not getting this feedback from us, they will continue to do whatever they like. But by the time they know that whatever they are doing will hold them accountable, and we must make sure that they do the right thing, something that will benefit us directly, I believe that they have no option than to do what we like. So that's the most important. You cannot criticize and not act. You must play your part before you can be able to criticize others. So we the youth, especially the youth, we the people, the masses, we need to play our part before we can be criticizing the government. So there are a lot of issues in terms of all this legislative, but I believe that the legislative have their own power, executive have their own power. But when it comes to implementation, the major implementer are the executive. The legislative are there to listen to the people and to provide policies that will help the people, that will align with the people's agenda.
You have a way of cleverly dodging away from your constituency, and you just channel the blame right now to the executive. So the legislative should not take blame in it. Their job is to formulate the laws and create laws and hand it over to the executive to implement. So they are exonerated from all of this concern. It's still fair. We won't judge you. We listen, we don't judge. All right, let's even delve into 26 years of our nascent democracy. From 1999 till date, Nigerian youth have been clamoring for a better government, for a better, more standard of living. But when you look at this whole President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration for the last 2 years, has it been welcoming for youth? Has it been friendly? Has it been more of a kind of a policy drive? Has it been able to also provide the kind of solutions that Nigerian youth need and deserve in order to enforce the kind of policies that we desire across the country? Let's even begin to x-ray the government from that point of view. When you look at the government and try to marry it with what Nigerian youth have been clamoring for. In 2 years, we've had end bad governance protests, almost back to back. But when you look at all of this so far and the Nigerian youth, are we there yet, even with this administration?
Yeah, I believe that we are seeing progress. And I believe that when it comes to governance and participation in governance, you cannot compare where we are now to where we have been 20 years ago. Of course, we are there and we have a lot of engagement, and we the youth are already participating in governance. If you look at the structure, especially at the National Assembly, you can see a lot of young people that are there. So I believe that we are given the opportunity and we are now participating, because we know that there's no way we can make impacts is by except when we are in the system, which is why it's motivating us to be in the system. And I believe that we can all see the changes. And I believe that if youth are given more opportunity than this, we can even do more at the executive branch than what we are doing already at the legislative branch. So we are doing that, and I believe that there is a progress, and everything we are seeing is step by step. And I believe that with time, there will be a time where most of these elected positions will be young people.
But should I ask that particular question, because it's as if Nigerian youth are more interested in getting the office of SAs, special advisor to the governor, special advisor to the president. I might be wrong in this particular conversation, but then it's what it is right now. A lot of youth are not vying, rather they're depending on appointment positions even across the country. But that's why I ask you again, when you look at it right now, what the youth have been clamoring for since 1999, has anything changed? Even because President Bola Tinubu has been at the forefront of professing and confessing democracy and change, which is the mantra of the All Progressive Congress. Have there been change so far in the last 2 years? When we measure it with where we're coming from and where Nigerian youth were before, can we say that we've moved from voting for appointments into becoming more of an elective representative? How many youths do we have right now that are even serving in elective capacities? But we'll come back to that conversation right now. I've been signaled that we need to go for this very important break. We'll go for this break, and when we come back, we will delve into this conversation in full because we won't allow the speaker, the national speaker for National Youth Assembly, to go this way if we don't get to X-ray all of this fact. Please stay with us. Big Talk continues in a moment. All right, welcome back. Now, before we went on that break, we were talking about some of the youth activities in Nigeria. There is this accusation that says that the Nigerian youth are not ready for leadership. That's why they are being given appointment positions in order to prepare them for leadership. And this we've been hearing since 1999 till date. 26 years after, Nigerian youth are still not ready for leadership. But you are, if the Speaker of the Youth Council, a lot of youth right now across the world are watching you to even hear you talk about Nigerian youth. How prepared are Nigerian youth in terms of leadership? Or are we just paying lip service to leadership? Or we need a training ground to get appointments, and also probably some people will say you lick the ass off a politician to be able to get to that point. But let's get you react to this. How prepared are Nigerian youths for leadership?
You know, the main issue we are facing as youth is that we have that mentality, political mentality, that we whenever we get an appointment or something, or we are going into politics, there's this mentality that people normally go into politics because of the money, which I believe that mentality is very negatively affecting the youth. And secondly is that I believe that the youth have the zeal and energy. We are young, we have it in our blood. We can do better if we are given the chance. But the main issue is that some people are not good ambassadors of the youth, while some, they will go get the appointment and be good ambassadors. So that's why we keep emphasizing that whatever you are doing, have a proper training. Whatever you are doing, be a good ambassador of the youth population. Because whoever, all these youths now that are in government offices, for example, whatever they are doing is affecting us directly, because it's showing that we the youth are serious if given the opportunity, or this is what we will do if given the opportunity. So that's why when you get that opportunity to be part of the government, you should be a very good ambassador of the youth and see how you can be more active, and also how you can impact people directly. So that mentality, if we continue to have this mentality of going into politics for money or something, that's when we will go into politics without performing well. Or by the time we have the mentality of community service, community engagement, to see that we go into these places to help our community, to do something better for the community, I believe that that's when we will go and perform better. So I believe that there are very good examples that are doing well. For example, we have our very own Minister of Youth, which is performing well, and there are some few ministers, while the other people in the government are not showing good example to the youth. So all we are saying is that whenever given this opportunity, we the youth, we need to show that we the youth are ready, and we the youth are ready to support the country and to do better for our demographic. So that's what we will keep doing. That's what we will keep advocating for, to be good ambassadors and better ambassadors for the youth.
So if I get you correctly, Mr. Speaker, you're saying that Nigerian youths are not ready for leadership?
No, I'm not directly saying that we are not ready for leadership. What I'm saying is that some are ready while some are not ready. But what I'm going to keep emphasizing is that this kind of our platform, the National Youth Assembly of Nigeria, the main aim of this platform is to make sure that we prepare the young generation for leadership.
All right. I'm asking that question in order to ask you, has President Bola Ahmed Tinubu been able to also, his administration, has it been able to propel and also prepare the Nigerian youths for leadership capacity, or is just another yes sir kind of administration in your own assessment for the last 2 years? You've mentioned the Minister of Youth, but even from the Ministry of Youth, we've not seen tangible and practical development coming from that youth in terms of empowering Nigerian youth to be able to compete favorably with their counterparts around the world. With all of this being playing out, you are even in this position, and you've been able to interact with the minister, and you've been able to access this government. What can you tell us about all of this practice? Has something changed so far? Nigerian youth now ready? How many percent of Nigerian youth can we now say are ready for a leadership position? Compare it from 1999 till date.
Politics or leadership is all about interest, and when we look at the the previous years, for example, compared to 1990s, many people don't have any interest in even political appointment. Look at it, for example, when you talk about 1999 to 2007, how many young people are even given commissioners? Now we have many commissioners, young commissioners, we have many youth, young ministers that are youth. So that's to show you that now the commitment and the passion for politics have increased among the youth, and that we are trying to see that we are ready to participate, we are ready to engage more in politics. So that means that there's a lot of commitment. People now, youth are more committed to participating in politics than before. But the main problem is not the commitment, is the ideology that you are going into that office with. If you are going into that office with the ideology to make money, then you cannot do better. So we might be interested in joining the politics, for example, but we must have a good intention and good ideology.
All right. So in a
that will make
scale,
us
so,
do
so in
better.
a scale of 1 to 10, from 1999 till date, where will you place the Nigerian youth in terms of preparation and readiness to take over leadership?
I would believe Nigeria is at 6 as of now. I think because when you look at all these previous years, for example, the engagement was too low. But now we are seeing a lot of engagement, and we are seeing a lot of people participating, even for elective position, not only appointed position. We are seeing elective people contesting for elective position. And I believe that the next election is even going to be more better, because a lot of people from various platforms, they are going to contest and they are going to participate more. So election will soon be coming by 2027. So I believe that by then we are going to have more committed youth that will be ready to participate in politics than what we already have now. So I believe that we are growing reasonably, and with time I believe that the interest will be more, and people will like to participate more in this political space than what we already have already.
Well, Bashir, I asked that question because we once had a Nigerian president that said that Nigerian youth are a lazy set of people. I don't know how correct that is, but within the political space, it tends to be also that Nigerian youth are not ready to take responsibility and taking the bull by the horn in terms of leadership stride. I don't know also how correct that is. You interact more with the youth on the field, and you are more dogged in that area. But let's return back to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration and looking at his scorecard for youth. If we begin to place it under a certain percentage, let's take from the north before we draw it down to the south. You are a national speaker. When you travel through the southern part of Nigeria, through to the north, through to the east, through to the west, and you interact with Nigerian youth on a daily basis, based on the feedback you've gotten so far. If you want to place the developmental stride of Nigerian youth in terms of technology, in terms of innovation, in terms of competitiveness, in terms of all of this productivity of the Nigerian youth, comparing it to youth in other parts of the world right now under this administration, what will your representation be, and what will your percentage be from youth? Let's start with the North first. What will you give the North in terms of percentage in scoring President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
The thing is that, like I told you, the participation is increasing, and people now want to participate in governance. But the main issue is the ideology that we have when we are participating in governance. But all these things that we are talking about, all this youth issue, all this, are youth ready to join politics, or are youth ready to govern? All these things that we are talking about is not a new thing. For example, when we go years back, for example, during the military rule, do you know that all these military rule that govern Nigeria, most of them were young people below their 40s? Most of them. IBB was below his 30. Yakubu Gawan, General Murtala Muhammad, all of them were young people. So all I'm saying is that we just, over the time, we just divert our attention from the main youth, and just decided to be going around, and decided to be restructuring the structure again. But all I'm saying is that this is not a new thing for Nigeria. We have had young presidents, we have had young leaders in Nigeria. So now that we are talking about bringing it back, the youth ready, kaza, we are ready, of course. I believe that we are ready if given the opportunity. And I believe that we can do more. When you look at even the northern part of Nigeria, for example, before, the political participation there was not much. But look at how many people are from north now that have elected offices. that are doing, that are participating at national or at state government. So we look at the number of people that have appointed offices from the north and what they are doing here. So all I'm trying to say is that regardless of the geopolitical zone or regardless of the zone, we are participating and the youth are doing well. And I believe that we just decided to divert our attention from what we have been doing, because I believe that in Nigeria for over the past 50 years we have had young leaders that have done good for this country. So if we can do that before, I believe that we have the opportunity now. Now with the advantage of social media and everything, we have the opportunity to advance ourselves. We have the opportunity to even do better than those people that have done that before.
All right, so Speaker Bashir, put this whole conversation and give us a percentage in terms of from the north through to the south. Let's give President Bola Tinubu a scorecard. Of course, this is a plain sheet. Let's even say, okay, it is a pass mark, what he has done for youth in the north, what he has done for youth in the south, the south, the 6 geopolitical zones. If you want to look at all of this conversation, in a scale of 1 to 10, let's begin with the north. What would that percentage be in terms of scoring President Bola Tinubu, in terms of his magnificent performance for the Nigerian youths?
You know, the thing is that, to be honest with you, I cannot give you exact percentage when it comes to this participation in this governance, for example. All I believe is that we are seeing progress, and the progress is increasing.
Progress is measured.
Yeah, measured,
well,
yeah.
Well, I think it's Maltalks that says that progress can be measured. Of course, astronomical growth and arithmetical growth, we can calculate measurement. And looking at all of this measurement, let's place this in a dichotomy, trying to score the president. What would be your scorecard?
To be honest with you, if we look at the previous administrations, for example, over the previous years, and look at this administration, I can tell you that we have more people engaged, more young people engaged in governance than we had before.
In the north, let's give a scorecard.
You want me to tell you number?
Let's start the score. No, in a scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Let's score the north, let's score the south, let's score the east, and let's score the west. In terms of performance.
Are you talking about elective position or appointed position?
You understand what, from elective position through to innovation, through to infrastructural development, through to all round. When you look at the administration for the last 2 years, what will be your scorecard for scoring President Bola Tinubu? Has it passed or has it failed? In the north, what's the percentage from 1 to 10? Has it scored 10? Has it scored 10 over 10? Has it scored even 5 over 10? Let's even hear from you, being the speaker at this point.
When we are talking about scorecard, we are just in the middle year, we are in the second year.
Just like you said, let's call it a second year assessment, if you like. It's called. Let's do it as a second year assessment.
Second year assessment.
So you are the principal, you are the coach, you are the lecturer, and of course you are the facilitator. Let's get you do a scorecard on this.
Yeah, I believe. I don't want to give you numbers, but you keep insisting that I should give numbers.
Let's work with a ratio.
Ratio.
Not a number. Let's just work with the percentage. 1 to 10. Or if you like, you can do 1 to 100.
I think, like I said before, we can give it 6, or let's say 6. Middle from the north. Yeah.
What about the
south? Reason for that is that, let me give you my reason.
Right.
The reason for that is that I believe personally, and I have seen it, that when it comes to political engagement, we are getting more engaged than when where we were before. And when it comes to this innovation, for example, we are already showing that, apart from the policies the government are showcasing, we are showing that we are also interested by getting involved in all these kind of innovative ways and to generate income, to generate living. So I believe that we have shown more commitment than we had shown before. So this commitment, and like I told you before, is now increasing, which I pray is going to keep increasing in terms of developmental issues.
All right. So let's take it to, as a speaker of the national. Of course, you represent a lot of national interest. Let's take it to the southwest. What would be your scorecard?
I think we are not talking about southwest, or no, we talk about the north. So now we should talk about the south in general.
Okay, I thought we were talking about the north geopolitical.
Yeah.
But let's, since you mentioned, let's take it into various part of the country. Okay, let's return it to the south right now. What would be your scorecard in terms of the southern part of Nigeria?
I think when we are talking about more participation and more engagement, To be honest with you, I believe that the South have more engagement and more interest in all this political space and innovative space than what we already have in the North. But it's also increasing. And I believe that what we have in the North is increasing, what we have in the South is also increasing. People are more because of the level of population that we have over the South. We have much population, while the South have lesser population than the North. And I believe that the commitment that's coming from the South, because of the level of educated people and the level of people that are interested in politics, I believe that they have a larger number than us. But like I keep telling you, the number is increasing, and everyone, the people are interest keep increasing. And I believe that from time to time we will have, but we won't be sitting here and be talking about how youth can be getting involved, because with time I believe that youth will already be involved, and we'll be talking about how we can do better as youth than getting involved.
All right, let's return back to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's scorecard. There's been this trend from government immemorial where to see a minister is almost an impossible task. Even talk less of meeting with the Minister of Youth and Sport and National Development. It tends to be a near impossible mission. I don't know if for the last 2 years that you want to rate the minister's performance and also his output in his engagement with youth so far. If you want to rate it and use that to also assess President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how engaging has the Minister of Youth been so far in terms of his interaction? How accessible has it been? How's the feedback mechanism been so far when you look at it so far, using it to address the concerns of Nigerians and giving the president a scorecard for this? Of course, we'll rate it back to percentage. I love percentage.
Yeah. Like I said before, yeah. I commended the minister because personally, what I like about him is his open door policy. Minister of Youth is a person that normally leave his door open for all young people to come and engage with him, which is why we are happy to have a young person there, because only young person can be able to leave his door open like that and engage people. If you see him engaging people, he's engaging people not like a minister, he's engaging people as a comrade. He's engaging people as someone that know where you are, as someone who has been in your place. So that's only young person can do that. When we look at the previous years, for example, we haven't had a younger minister of youth before like this minister. So which is why we always encourage that we should have young person that will interact with us, young person that knows what we are going through, young person that can align with what we are doing. That's why we are happy to have him, and I believe that what he's doing is going to make a lot of progress to the Nigerian youth. But when it comes to the other ministries, for example, the main issue we are facing, if to say I'm going to rate the government in terms of ministerial performance, I personally will have to say that the performance is not good. I will have to call it poor, because I can count
based on the percentage.
Exactly. If I'm going to count the numbers of ministers that are performing, we are not going to count more than 5 ministers. How many ministers we have? We have more than 47 ministers. And for me, I feel like there are some ministries that don't even need minister of state. Why will there be minister of state in that ministry? That's why most of them are not performing, because most of them, I believe, they don't have even duties to do. So if we can be able to be assessing, I believe the president have this special control unit and special monitoring unit on evaluation, headed by his SE Hadiza Bala Osman. If we can be able, Mr. President can be able to be evaluating these ministers based on their performance, I believe that many of these ministers will not be here. I believe that. So all I'm saying is that we are calling on Mr. President to use the office he created to be evaluating these ministers. Not just leave them there, even if they are not performing. They are there to serve Nigerian people. They are there to work. And another thing I'm going to tell you is that apart from the Ministry of Youth, I personally normally go to a lot of ministries to get engagement. Most of the ministry, for you to even see the minister is another wahal. For you to see the minister is a struggle. You can spend months for you to see the minister, especially when you are coming as a young person. It's very difficult for you. So only the Ministry of Youth cannot help Nigerian youth group. I believe that other ministries are there, and other ministries need to play their part and give room for us. I'm telling you that there is a ministry I've been doing follow-up just to see the minister for an engagement. For more than 6 months now, we were not able to see that minister. So imagine all this thing. What will it take them for us to meet us and just have this discussion? It's not only the Minister of Youth that is bound to do to listen to the youth. No, there are other ministries. Whenever you are talking about national development, you must include youth. So all I'm saying is that these ministers need to be vetted, need to be rated according to their performance. Anyone who is not doing well should go back. You are here to perform your national duty and do well to the nation and help Mr. President achieve his agenda. But if you are not performing, what can you say? A lot of ministers are doing well. When you talk about Minister of Youth, FCT Minister, Minister of Interior, all these are ministers that are performing. But by the time I start counting the number is not going to be more than 5 or 6 of these people that are performing. Out of almost 47 ministers, why are they there if they are not performing? Let them go.
All right, let's talk in terms of the fact that a lot of Nigerian youth right now, Nigerian youth have been known to be in the creative space. Nigerian youth have been known to be creatives. Some of them, they say Nigerian youth are born creative. They go to other countries, they perform optimally. But if you want to begin to rate the president right now, looking at all of this performance by Mr. President, of course, he has gotten several endorsements from party members. And of course, Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians are saying that the president is doing magnificently well. On the scorecard, there are some of his achievements, about 40 that the president has done, from NELFON through to the minimum wage, a lot of those CNG projects and Calabar coastal rails and what have you. The president has done magnificently well. But all of those projects tend to be very significant, but not even to the Nigerian youth, because we've not seen the Nigerian youth being more creative even within this administration. So I want to ask, is it that the administration brought some form of loopholes for Nigerian youth talent to go down the drain, or the administration so far, in your own observation and in your own assessment, has been able to further promote Nigerian youth in terms of their skill, talent, and abilities to be creative beyond doubts?
You know, like you said, Nigerians, we are born to be talented. You will see that when you look at the number of people that are going outside Nigeria and they are performing. Look at, even when you talk about the medical doctors, for example, most of Nigerian doctors that are even Nigeria who go to outside abroad, they are doing excellently well. In terms of technological space, look at the level of startups that we are having. Tech startups that are doing well, that are performing. So we are creative. Nigerians, we are creative. We have that in us. We are creative. We are hustlers. We are creative and we are doing more. But the main issue we are talking about when it comes to all these policies by the president, for example, like I said before, what the president needs to be doing is to ensure line. They are good initiative, but the only issue is that they are not affecting people, majority of people directly. They are just affecting fragment of people. For example, when you are talking about the student loans for the student, how about the other people? For example, I'm not saying that these policies should not be made. They are good, and there will be a time where these policies will pay off. But all I'm calling on the government is to ensure whatever they are doing go to the people directly, affects the livelihood of the people. Look at the economy now, the way things are just going up like this. Inflation keep increasing, for example. These are things that affect people. The standard of living keep going down. So if Mr. President can be able to do some things that people can say that these are things that affect our life directly, that's the main focus. That's what I believe should be the main focus of this administration. Let the government affect the people directly, either through policies or through implementation. Any way they can do that. They are the government, they know the right place that they can do this. To provide incentives, people are really suffering. There's a lot of insecurity in the country. There's issue of light, for example. If you go to the northern part, you can stay for days without light. When you look at even this light issue, for example, some of the light that we generate in Nigeria, we also give neighboring countries like Niger that light. But for the past few days, I have been hearing complaints, especially from that northern part, that there is no light. No light. There was an issue with the light. Up till now, they couldn't repair the light. So people will stay for days without. without light. This is something that affects the life of the people. So whenever you are looking at all these critical issues, look at something that you can do that can change people. I'm telling you that, for example, if this government can only achieve, this government can only achieve providing 24-hour power to Nigerians, I believe that they have done well. So I'm just giving you an example. So there are ways. If the government decided to just focus on power to provide efficient electricity to people, I believe that we will not be here arguing about whether the government have done well or not.
Who am I to argue with the National Speaker of the National Youth Assembly? Just a journalist trying to put issues in perspective. Just before I let you go, because I did signal right now that it's time for us to begin to talk about things in the studio. But just before I let you go, in all of this, it's all about assessment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we've talked about different sectors. We've talked about the youth, we've talked about assessing the ministers, we've talked about the appointments and all of this. Put all of this together right now. We'll return back to that point again, Bashir. Then we'll talk about, let's put a figure to assessing the general performance of President Bola Tinubu right now. What would the performance be, even from the angle of the youth, in a scale of 1 to 10?
When we are talking about what I just said, let me cite one thing. When we are talking about direct impact, something that we, the youth or the people, will see direct impact. That's how I'm going to vet this administration. That's how, just like I said, what are the impacts that the administration was able to reach to the people? What are the direct impact that people were able to see through this administration? I don't like giving numbers, but just like you insist, for example, all I can say is that there's a lot that needs to be done by this administration.
No, but we work with numbers. I don't know if I'm going to share my former life, but I think I like figures. Because when you have figures out there, it helps us to, somebody will say that the clarification, it gives us, leads to the avoidance of doubt and provide an epistemological understanding to what is to be discussed.
I will give you numbers.
Okay, please give
I will give you numbers.
Please
You know, because something just came into my mind. When we are talking about implementation, government is not only a one-man job.
So give us the numbers.
It's a job that should be done by everyone. When we are talking about the president, we are talking about the president and his cabinet.
Please give
so
us
considering the level of
whatever comes out
lack
of
of participation,
Tinubu's administration, it still rests on his table.
On
Nobody
his
will say
table.
Dele Alake's administration. Everybody will say President Bola
Ahmed
Tinubu's
Tinubu
administration. Give us an
looking at all these things and the way people need to see direct effect and the way we are calling on the government to engage more people. I believe what I can give this administration at this moment, at this second year, we are going to give it 4 out of the 10. That means there's still work need to be done to affect the people directly. There's still work need to be done by the president to have people that will support him deliver on his mandate. But I'm telling you that looking at this current situation, lack of electricity, insecurity, and all these things that are happening that are directly affecting the people, I cannot give this government above that 4. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, 4 it is from Bashir. Bashir, I want to say thank you so much for finding out time to be with us here on Big Talk. Of course, the talk today is very big. Well,
thank you very much.
Don't forget that Bashir is the speaker of the national speaker of the National Youth Assembly of Nigeria. And we'll be talking about the state of the nation and also trying to assess President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration for the last 2 years. Well, this is how far we can go this evening here on Big Talk. And do remember that you can also stay with us on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen to keep track of our broadcast. And also you can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app from your Android and iOS devices to also keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Till Big Talk comes your way again, enjoy the rest of your evening.